What is going on, guys? Happy Days here, and we're going to do live reaction to the new announcement of the 3 new legends that are coming as part of the New Year's celebration. So before we actually get into the legends, let's look at the quick tweet that Bandai had put out that gives a little teaser trailer of the event. So we got Roger and Oden, Yamato, and Zoro and Sanji. And that Oden animation is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it actually is pretty awesome. So it does look like the slot machine prediction that came out yesterday and that was teased and talked about in the Stump Cord coming true. So that's awesome. It looks like those will be the 3 legends. I do think still that there will be another part. I'm kind of shocked that these would be the final New Year's legends. So I definitely think that we will see another part of the celebration coming. But let's enjoy the rest of the video for now. Awesome. So that was the trailer. Let's go ahead and dive into the units themselves, and I will start with Yamato. So if we open it up, let's just quickly take a look at her captain ability first. Determined to protect the land of Wano. So he reduces crew special charge time by 1 turn at the start of the quest, reduces the character's special charge time 5 times at the start of Battle 3, and reduces the special charge of the crew a further 1 turn at the start of Battle 3. So that's actually pretty awesome that she removes her special by 5 turns and then the whole crew's by 1. Obviously, that indicates that there will be some kind of mechanism that they're expecting to implement where you'll want to use a special multiple times. That would kind of make sense. So let's just keep going. Boost striker and slash characters HP by 1.5, attack by 6, and boost other characters' attack by 5 times, and make striker and slash characters dex, quick, recovery, and tandem slots have matching slot effects, and reduces the crew's bind duration by 10 turns. So I think this is the new meta that we're seeing with Gear 5 Luffy, 6 times attack captains. HP is great to see. And having those 4 orb types be matching is always good, and bind is always great to get rid of. And if a striker or slash crewmate uses a special, it reduces the character's switch effect use by 1, and adds 10% attack to the crew's next final tap. Okay, so this is probably where they were the thing about triggering multiple specials and being able to do the cooldown really comes in. So it seems like what you'll be able to do is when you end up using the attacks there, that 10% attack boost looks like you'll be able to be stacked, and it looks like it can be stacked up to 200%. And the effect will be spent during the final tap when attacking with all available characters regardless of the type class requirement of the effect. Ooh, that's very interesting. And if the final tap attack boost effect activates before the final battle, it accumulates until the final battle. Okay, so it means that, you know, if you keep getting this 10% increase, you can just keep building it up through all the stages, and then when you get to the last stage, it will all accumulate to do that final damage share. So that's actually really interesting. A lot of our content isn't that long, so I do wonder how much this will be able to be used. But the damage potential and output there are really interesting and really good. So it's kind of interesting to see how that will play out. Let's go ahead and get into her special. And it says launch special as a double character will have a stronger effect. So she deals 150 her character's attack in non-type damage to all enemies. So that's always good. Damage to all enemies is great. And that ignores all defensive effects and defense and statuses that are there. It also reduces all enemies' damage reduction threshold by 7 turns, and applies a 20% damage buff for striker and slasher characters. And it also boosts the type effect to normal attacks for striker and slasher characters by 2.75 for 1 turn. And if the enemy has an increased damage status when the special is launched, it increases the damage effect up to 2.25 times, and further increases the crew's type effect boost by 0.25. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's not that bad. I wouldn't say it's anything that's really game breaking there, but it's actually pretty good there. So let's go ahead and start looking at some of her other stats that are there as well. So we covered her captability and her special. For crewmate, she boosts striker and slash character's attack base by 150. Not great. It just kind of is what it is. And then she also reduced character special charge time by 1 turn every time another striker or slash character uses a special. That's pretty good. We've seen that in other characters where it reduces their special charge if other type uses it. So it's not bad. Let's look at the switch effect and see what's going on there. So her switch effect completely removes the character's spare slot bind, changes character's slot, including block to Wano. So that is always good. Any switch effect or special that can change block slots to another is always appreciated and will always be used. And it boosts the attack of the next final tap performed for the crew by 5%. And that stacks up to that 200% we talked about earlier from her captain ability, and it will be spent during the final tap when attacking there. So switch effect is good. Nothing terrible there. Can't really complain about that. So let's go to the super switch, which completely removes the character's spare slot bind, changes her slots, including block slots again, to Wano, and changes the adjacent slots. Oh, so that's kind of the difference there. She changes the adjacent slots as well, even if they're block to tandem, and boosts the attack of the next final tap performed the crew by 10%, up to the 200% maximum threshold there. And just going through, and it will also apply a negative 20% striker and slasher resistance for all enemies for 1 turn, and you become the child of Ogre Yamato. So super switch effect is good. It's always good to be able to change orbs of yourself as well as others, and it changes the block slots too. So that's just it's a good super switch. I can't really complain too much there. So when the child becomes the child of Ogre Yamato, and you have the super switch effect, and any of the 3 characters on the crew, and the characters are really the Straw Hat Pirates, and also a bunch of the Wano characters like Oden, Momonosuke, Kinmon. There's just a lot of the characters out there, and what it will end up doing is you'll reduce your special's crew charge time by 2 turns. So special charge time reductions are always awesome and always appreciated. You do have to have 3 of the characters, so it is a little high on the requirement side, but it's actually not too bad. And then once you reduce the crew special charge time by 2, you reduce damage taken for 70% for a turn, and you boost the attack of the next final tap performed by the crew by 20% instead of the 10% on the super switch and on the specials there. So that's really good. Like I said, it's obviously this character was made to kind of build that accumulation special. I think it'll be tough to get anywhere near that 200. Like I could see like easily being able to get maybe in the 100% to 150 range, but I think it's going to be tough to get into that 200% range that's there. And she also locks the crew's slots for 1 turn and changes striker to super striker and changes dex to super dex. So, I mean, overall, her super special, outside of the limitations that it takes to actually have it get activated, it's actually it's not bad. I can't really complain too much about there. Locking slots is always good, and it's always good to reduce special. She does have a final tap, and at level 5, it will change her character's slots, including block slots, to Wano, and then it will boost the base attack by 700, and it boosts the crew's attack based on the 200% of the damage reduction effect applied. So if you have 70% damage reduction applied, it would boost your attack by 2.4 for 1 turn. So an attack boosting final tap is not too bad. The base attack is kind of disappointing. It's only at 750, but it kind of is what it is. So let's go ahead and just check out what some of her PvP abilities are here. So let's start at level 5 for her base abilities. So she gives Dex Quick Teammates HP up level 5, critical up level 5, special cooldown speed up level 3, and slasher class defense 6 and speed up 6. So her base sets aren't terrible. I do like the defense up that she provides, and cooldown reduction is always good as well for those type of teams. The Dex team really isn't the meta right now, so it's probably more accurate to say you use probably on the quick team. But still, it could find some uses there, and defense up and just making those bulky teams will obviously make building defensive teams good, and you might be able to also leverage that on the offensive side of the field as well. For what her special will do, so she targets team for a shield level 6. for 10 seconds, attack up level 10 for 10 seconds, and target striker and slasher class teammates for attack times 4 counter stance. And then targets all enemies for attack speed down level 8 for 40 seconds and defense down level 6. Okay, for 40 seconds. So that defense down is really good. I think that's probably the best part of her special here outside of the shield. I think with when we had Momonosuke come out and you could see that he would apply his shield to different characters, you really saw how powerful that could actually be. So you get a little bit of the defensive capability there with the defensive down and the shield, and like I said, it's not bad. I don't think it's going to break any metas there, but it's very interesting what that can do. And then lastly, for her base stats there, we kind of already talked about what she could do. Dex and quick type teammates, attack, recovery, critical up level 5, and striker slasher teammates, attack, HP, and speed up level 4. Nothing kind of too crazy there. Nothing that's game breaking there for her GP stats. I don't think you'll end up using her as a leader in Grand Party, to be completely honest with you. And I just think she'll have much better uses there than what you're currently seeing out here. So I don't see that she has a GP burst from what I can see on the screenshot here. So it'll be very interesting to see. I don't think she'll be used too much on the PvP side. I think what you'll see her most used for is on that content and building up that percent gauge there to try to get as close to 200% as you can. So that's Yamato. Let's hop over, and before I just hop over into Oden, just show you the ink effect real quick, because I think these ink effects are awesome. You can just see her ink effect right there. So let's hop into Roger and Oden and see what they're doing. So discovering the whole world nullifies the effect of remove beneficial effects, so it's very similar to what the current Roger can do, and remove the accumulated value once per quest. And it boosts quick and slasher characters' HP by 1.5, attack by 5.5, and boosts other characters' attack by 5 times. Makes slasher strength slots into Wano, and completely removes despair. So again, very similar to what the old Roger already had. And if they use the special, the character's character ability is the following for 3 turns. It boosts quick and slashers characters' HP by 1.5, attack by 6, so that's good. It really seems like 6 is the new meta now in terms of attacks, so that's very interesting. And I think going forward, you'll kind of see that as the new base that's there. And she'll boost other characters' attack by 5.25, and then makes the strength into Wano again, and completely removes the despair. And when a slasher character with critical attack potential ability performs a critical attack, applies a negative 6% slash resistance to all enemies for 1 turn. So, I mean, that's kind of trash at the end, if I'm being honest, right? There's not a whole lot of units that people are going to invest to get critical attack up as a potential ability in the first place. And then you only get a 6% buff for slasher characters, which just isn't that great. I mean, it's free because it's part of the captain ability, which is nice. But ultimately, I don't think it'll be that influential in content and will really help out all that much. So let's dive into their special. So you deal 1.5 million damage to all enemies, ignoring all defense effects, defense and non-normal attacks. And if the character slot is Wano when the special is launched, it boosts quick type slasher characters. So quick and slasher. It has to be both. Attack by 3.25 for 1 turn, and it boosts quick and slasher characters' attack by 2.75 for 1 turn. So that's interesting. So it kind of has a dual role. If you're a quick and a slasher, you get the 3.25 attack. If you're just either or, you'll get the 2.75 attack for 1 turn. And then it turns the crew's quick slots into Wano, and then you will end up, and that's for 2 turns, and it'll change the matching slots to quick. So it's interesting, and if the total damage dealt with the normal attacks before special is launched is 10 million or more, it boosts the quick type slasher character slot effects by 3 times for 3 turns. So that's really interesting, because you get both. You could potentially, if you had quick type slashers, you get attack boost for 1 turn and then an ore boost for 3 turns, which and both at pretty high multipliers, which is really good. and boosts the quick and slasher character slot effects by 2.75 for 3 turns. So again, this is where the main difference of whether they're quick and slasher or quick or slasher will come into play. So it'll be interesting team building for these guys, just because you have to keep into account both of those factors when you're building out these teams, just to make sure you're getting the optimal boosts that are there. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of their crewmate abilities. They make quick slots, and characters type slots have matching slot effects, so not bad. It boosts crew's base stats by 150. That's just kind of whatever. Support effect for slasher characters. So the fact that it's for all slasher characters is actually really good. Usually you only get a handful of units, but we have so many slasher characters in the game that's really good. It could apply to a bunch of people. And it will boost quick type slasher characters attack by 2.25 for 1 turn, and boost quick and slasher characters attack by 1.75 for 1 turn at the start of the final battle. So overall, pretty good support effect there. Obviously, you want to have a quick type slasher to get the most out of this attack buff. Otherwise, you'll be getting just a 1.75 if it's a quick or a slasher, as opposed to a quick and a slasher. So good. I like it. I think it'll work. So let's go ahead and go into their super type that is there. Take a quick look. So you need 5 slasher characters with critical attack potential ability. So that's going to be tough to do, I think. I think it's going to be really tough to find 5 characters that actually have that critical attack potential ability. I don't off the top of my head know the full list that's there, and like I said, this is kind of my live reaction, but it feels like it might be kind of tough to do some team building around there. Or any 2 of the following characters on their crew, except as support characters. And there's a whole host load of characters there: Rayleigh, Gabon, Crocus, Shanks, a lot of Shanks crew that's there. A lot of the Wano units with Toki, Hiyori, Kinemon, Raizo, a lot of the scabbers that are there. So I like that they have that ore condition there, because I think that will be the one that'll be much easier to end up fulfilling and being able to get that EX super. And it changes top row's character slots, including block slots, to Wano. So that's always a good thing. That can change block slots is always great. And it will end up changing the middle and bottom rows character slots, including block slots again, which is great to the character's own type, and it locks crew slots for 1 turn. It boosts the right character's base attack by 2,000 for 1 turn, and changes quick characters to super quick, and changes slasher characters to super slasher. So overall, super is good. I think with that ore condition there, it really does save the unit. It really helps get the ability of being able to use the super, and I like it. Being able to change orbs, including block, for your whole crew and unlocking them is really great. It's a really awesome ability. So I think you'll definitely see a lot of use there. They do have a Rush Sugo special, and looking at it at level 5, at the start of the final battle, if the character performs the 2nd or 3rd tap of an attack, and any 2 of the following characters are on the quest, and again, it's very similar to that previous for the super, for the EX super that they had, a bunch of Shanks crew, a bunch of the Kinemon and Wano units, and basically you reduce HP by a certain amount, but allows to perform a rush. As the rush tap connects, it cumulatively boosts the chain and boosts the attack. And the final tap of all slasher, striker, and quick characters up to 0.5, up to a 0.5 chain multiplier. Sorry, it starts at 0.5 and it goes up to 2.0 chain multiplier. So it's not the best Rush Sugo. Obviously, some other units have much better Rush Sugos, Sanji, for example, and those guys. But being able to boost the chain multiplier isn't bad. But like I said, I don't think people are going to be rushing out to invest their Rush Sugo tablets into these characters to get them to go up. I think it's good, but I don't think you'll see people in a rush to max those out. So let's go ahead and check out their PvP stats that are out there. So at level 10, they target enemies with a large range for 3,000 damage, and then targets all enemies for attack times 3 damage. Okay, so they're fixed damage dealer, and then they target all enemies for 3 times damage. It's not through defense, so obviously that's a negative there. But you'll be doing probably a fair amount of damage there, and then when 8 quick type characters on the team, Uh, then you basically have 3 slasher teammates with low current specialty for CT reduction -50. So I think the tricky part here is that when you're building out these teams, you do have the cost limit, right? And if you have legend, it's usually around that 50 range, right? For costs for these type of legends, right? So you definitely will have to build out a lot of rare recruits. So using people like Blue Jam or Perchemi, or those guys who are definitely lower cost quick units will have to be key in all of this. You won't be able to just put a full stack of team legends on there and hit that 8 quick type condition. But I do like the fact that it's basically giving you a 50% buff to your special charge time that's there for any slasher characters that are on there. So I think it will see definitely some use there. And I think that the tricky part there will be building those teams around that condition that's there. In terms of his Rumble abilities, so they gave quick type teammates attack up level 5, defense up level 5, slasher teammates HP up level 5, speed up level 5. And when you have 5 slasher characters in the team, you get a special charge time speed up too. So what's interesting here, I do like the defense up with the Shanks that just came out recently. He gives defense up as well, so I think that really kind of works well with them. I think where you might have some difficulties here is that there's not really a lot of good quick slashers that are out there. I know they just released Hiyori and Momonosuke last month, which were quick legends, and I kind of see where I think they're trying to have people go with this, but it's really interesting. I think it'd be tough to build a team of blue slashers exclusively, but I think if you can do that condition, you'll be going fast. So like I said, you'll be having that 50% CD reduction, and then you could also be having speed up and defense up. So interesting trade off. I could see him having some uses, but I don't know if he's going to completely change the blue meta that we currently have out there today. So let's just check out his GP stats. So real quick, his GP burst targets all enemies for 5,000 fixed damage, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, somewhere in the vein of G5, so I think that's what they're trying to go with there. And targets 3 enemies with high special, CT, ignore, defense for base attack damage ×3. So, yeah, I mean, I can't complain about the GP burst. It's not bad. I don't think it's as good as the G5 Luffy's is, to be honest with you. But I could definitely see him having some uses there, right? I don't know if everyone's going to suddenly decide to switch over to this guy, and I would say 90% probably won't, right? You'll probably see some people try him out in some different, first or second day videos that they put out, but I don't think ultimately people will be keeping him around to the end of Grand Party, where you kind of need those burst leaders to go that's there. And I think part of that too is that if you look at their actual GP stats next, when they get to level 5, they don't really do too much, right? So you get attack speed up for quick type teammates, and then you also get just a level 2 special CT. You do get some defense up level 4, as well as blow away percentage, which is kind of throwaway, and HP. So that HP and defense up level 4 is good. But I think because it's still so weak that you're not going to see this character get too much use in terms of their GP leader ability. So that's Roger Oden. Overall, I would probably say that I think they're a little bit better unit, in my opinion, than Yamato. I think, like I said, I think it'll be tough to do the accumulations that'll go there for her to fully get her, do her max damage output. But I think that the ability to have slot effects, attack, high multipliers, you can negate the remove beneficial effects. It's a pretty good unit, and I would say so far this is probably my favorite out of the two that I've seen so far. But with that said, let's go ahead and check out Sanji last. And sorry, before I check out Sanji, just check out the ink effect of Oden and Roger right here, which is pretty awesome. I actually like their ink effect. Pretty good. The hockey is awesome, lighting up there. All right, and lastly, we're getting to Sanji. So let's see, and this is the Sanji and Zoro unit that's there. So they reduce the crew's special charge time by 1 turn at the start of the quest, which is always good. We like special charge time reductions. And boost fighter, slasher, striker, shooter, driven, and free spirit characters HP 1.5, attack by 2.45. Approximately 6 if a character has 2 of these classes. So that's interesting. They really want you to do that merger of multiple classes that are out there in order to get to that 6 times multiplier, which is kind of the new baseline of the meta. And also makes their Dex, Quick, Recovery, and Tandem slots have matching slot effects, and allows crew to obtain recovery slots with perfect taps. So that's awesome. I am a big fan of the recovery slots with perfect taps ability, so that's pretty good. What's interesting is the next line where it reduces the crew's fear duration by 10 turns. So we haven't had to deal with too much content when there's fear. So obviously in the next events that are coming up, fear will probably play a pretty big role in that content. So it's interesting that they have that as part of their captain ability, and they can basically heal up to 2 times their max HP. So overall, their captain ability is kind of, I mean, luckily the number of classes that are out there are pretty expansive in terms of the different type of characters that fit into all those classes. So I think you'll be able to make teams pretty easily to satisfy the captain ability. But outside of the that, and I think just having 10 turns of fear is just kind of mid, to be honest. I would have liked to see another utility in here outside of fear. Otherwise, it just isn't that great so far, at least from what I can tell. So let's go into the special. And launching the special as a double character will have a stronger effect. So the special changes depending on the current character. So it could deal 300 times the character's attack in non-type damage to all enemies. So again, I love attacks in the special that can do damage to all enemies as opposed to just one. That's great. And it ignores all defensive effects and defense. It also reduces all enemies' damage threshold and defense up duration by 7 turns, further increases crew's attack and slot effects boost by 0.5. So I could see you definitely using this guy with Roger Oden, right? They can give the 3 turns slot effects and another turn or 2 with the attack buff, and these guys could help increase those slot boosts by 0.5. And also boost the chain multiplier by 1.75 and plus 2 for 1 turn. And it's saying if the captain is a slasher or free spirit class, it changes the crew's first class to slasher and second class to free spirit for 3 turns. So it's interesting. I'm guessing that there's some other mechanics of their kit that will depend on either the crew being a slasher or a free spirit, and this could be also done so that on in the case where, because Zoro is a dex unit, Sanji is obviously a quick unit. If they want to be able to activate some of those conditions that are on that are on Oden and Roger's character, and maybe even Yamato's as well, you can leverage that special to kind of get your class to the one that you need to do. So let's go ahead and check the crewmate abilities real quick. So it makes the crew's recovery, tandem, and character's dex quick slots have matching slot effects. Allows character to train recovery slots with perfect taps. And when captain is a slasher free spirit, adds 0.1 to the chain multiplier. For free, I mean, that's not a lot, but hey, the 0.1 to the chain multiplier is not terrible. And it reduces despair by 1 turn, which is always good. And then that's the crewmate abilities. And then for the switch effects, they change adjacent slots to tandem and boost the crew's attack and slot effects by 1.3 for 1 turn. So I do like the fact that it changes slots. I don't like that it won't change through block slots. Now, obviously, you'll see that changes in the super type, but a super switch. But I would have liked to see that really in the switch effect area. In the super switch effect, so we have the change crew slots, including block slots to tandem, boost the crew's attack and slot by 2.25 for 1 turn. And you can overwrite that, and they become Zoro and Sanji for 3 turns. So super switch is pretty solid. Attack and slot boost that's there. So if you didn't have the new Oden and Roger character that came out, just with their super switch, you'll be able to get attack and slot boost by 2.25, which is pretty good. In terms of their EX super here, so when they become Zoro and Sanji with the super switch and any 3 of the following characters on the crew, and it's pretty much a Straw Hat. Pirates that are there: Yamato, Law, Kid, Momonosuke, Hiyori, Izo, a bunch of the scabbards that are out there. You'll boost the slasher and free spirit characters' chain multiplier growth rate of normal attacks up to 0.7 for 1 turn. And you also become super slasher for slasher characters, and free spirit become super free spirit. So I think at this point we have so many ways to get damage that it just doesn't feel like 0.7 is that huge. I mean, you'll do a little bit more damage, but I just think that they're super. The super slasher and super free spirit are actually pretty good, but that 0.7 just doesn't really do much in today's world. Moving on to their super tandem that they have. So they, if you have any of the two characters on the crew, and it's kind of that same group of people that I just mentioned with the Straw Hat Pirates, some of the Worst Generation with Kid, and some of the Scabbards and some of the characters from Wano that are also there. You can basically get an attack boost or a tandem of 2.5 to Slasher and Free Spirit characters for 1 turn, and changes the attack multiplier of Dex, Wano, Recovery Tandem, and Rainbow slots to 2.75. So usually they're 2.5. So it will boost them up to 2.75. And then, and sorry, that's just some of the other conditions that are there. Super Tandem's not terrible. I mean, you get the 2.5 attack, which is always good. So I guess ultimately I really can't complain about the Super Tandem. Like I said, I know we have a lot of Super Tandem units out there today already. I don't know if I'd invest all my tablets in here if I had them. I think there are definitely some other Super Tandem characters that would be much better to pump those tablets into. But I mean, it's not terrible. Like I said, a 2.5 attack boost there is pretty solid in terms of the damage it will do. Let's go ahead and check their GP abilities that are out here real quick. So at level 10, they will target Slasher class teammates for attack up, speed up, defense up, and when any of the Straw Hat Pirates are on their crew, it will basically give 100% haste to Slasher class teammates. So obviously it's more of a utility based, it seems like, from here. It doesn't do damage, just basically boosts up a bunch of stats that are out there. And does the haste, which is good. Can't really complain. It's a utility unit that's out there. And for their base abilities, they'll give team HP up level 6, speed up level 6, Slasher class teammates attack up level 5, defense up level 5. And again, when any of the Straw Hats are on the crew, they will basically give themselves attack up level 10 and defense up level 5. So this unit is really leaning heavy into defense, as you can see, defense shoring up himself and the team, and then also helping to make sure that you'll be able to go quicker than your opponent, right? So overall, I can't complain for utility, right? He doesn't have any attack or damage in his specials, and that defense is definitely nice when it comes to building different teams. So let's see for his GP stats. So let's see, at level 5, if current team is 5 teammates or less, it targets team for defense up level 8 for 50 seconds, which is quite a long time. And then target strength and dex type enemies for 6,000 damage, and then delays their special by 50%. So I think the tricky part here is the less than 5 teammates. Even if you had a full legend squad, with only having strength and dex as the enemies that will take the damage that's there, I think it's pretty risk dependent. Like I said, I think a lot of people today run side teams and some other variations, especially on the later days of GP when you can't see what slot or what teams are in what slots. I think it's pretty tough to guess this, and that's kind of the last thing you want to do in GP, is try to guess, what team might be hiding there, and then if you're wrong, then his burst kind of becomes useless there. So, once again, I don't see anything here that will make Luffy get killed from the meta, but it just kind of is what it is because he's kind of broken. And let's look at the GP stats, the base stats. So team HP, speed up, defense up level 2. Nothing too crazy there. And it will give strength and dex type enemies attack HP down level 5 and special CT down level 4. So if you're facing strength and dex enemies, this guy will melt them, right? They'll not only take a giant burst from the captain ability that's there, they'll also get their special delayed by 50%, and on top of that, they're already getting a special cooldown of -4 to their abilities there. So if you're facing a strength and dex team, it is going to take them forever to actually attack you, and you'll be able to get off a burst or do something in that time frame. So you can kind of see where Bandai might have been going here, hoping that you could get in there and stop your opponent from basically charging up their burst quickly with G5, I think. And then that would give you time to build up on the second round, build up your special, and use it before the enemy has a chance to use theirs. So interesting mechanic. I still don't think, just because of the nature of not being able to see what your teams are on the last couple of days, I still think people will opt to not use this as a GP leader or a GP burst. But that's kind of what it is. So I think in a comparison ranking, just kind of level set where I rank with all three of those, I would probably say Roger and Oden seem like the best, at least to me right now. After that, I would probably say that the Yamato unit would probably come in second. I do think that accumulation is really interesting, and definitely something that we should look into to see how easy it will be to build up to that 200%. Or close to that 200%, but I kind of like what she's doing in her kit that's there. And then lastly, obviously, Zoro and Sanji would kind of be number 3 for me. Before we wrap up this video, though, I did happen to see that as I was going through, and that's just the ingot effect for Zoro and Sanji, just so you can take a look at it. But I did see that they announced also a new law, and what was interesting here is that originally I thought, wait, are they doing 4 legends? Right, we had got 3 legends, and the banner that we had looked at the beginning actually talked about only those 3 legends. So I think what is going to happen is, I think this is going to be a super evolution of one of the current versions of law that we have. Probably the Corazon law, because if you actually click into the icon, you can actually see Corazon over here. So it's interesting. I don't think I'll get into him in this video, just because I want to take some time to actually digest and read what his kit and what his capabilities are and what they do. So look for a separate video that I'll probably have on that probably tomorrow. So with that, and that's his ink effects right there for the new law. So with that, I'm wrapping up today's reaction video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment below which one you will be pulling for if you are doing any polls. And because it's past almost 2 a.m. here on the East Coast, I just want to say, for those of you who celebrate, have a Merry Christmas. I hope that your days are great. I hope everyone has fun with their families. And just thank you guys for an amazing year. I will be doing polls on these Sugo Fests when they come out, so definitely watch out for that. My luck has been pretty terrible on these anniversary banners, and especially New Year's. I did have to go 30 multis both for Roger and Oden when they came out, so I'm hoping that I don't have to do the same for this Roger and Oden when they come out, but we shall see what ends up happening there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for staying on, and I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this video. I do think that there's something else coming. I just don't feel like these guys are the end-all be-all for an anniversary celebration. So I definitely feel there is another banner kind of hiding around the corner. So just keep an eye out for that. Until next time, be kind to each other. Thanks, guys.